The Asus 1080 08G, with its whopping $1,600 Canadian dollar price tag, it comes in as the most expensive 1080 to date. Asus has just launched their 1080 product lineup, but it hasn't come without a few hitches. They took a page from VW's books and replaced the stock BIOS with the overclock BIOS on the cards which they sent to reviewers. You can read more on this by clicking the link in the description. Asus also had to discontinue their highest clocked 1080 because of too many RMA issues. So, after going through all of that, was it worth it? Well, that's what we're gonna find out. A useful feature of this 1080 is what's called a VR-friendly port system. It has 2 HDMI and 2 display ports, unlike its older brother, the Founders Edition, which has 1 HDMI and 3 display ports. How does it help you? Well, if you have a VR headset, it helps you a lot by allowing you to have an HDMI screen and a headset plugged in at the same time. But if you have 3 DisplayPort screens at 4K 60, you're kinda screwed. Aside from all that geeky stuff about DisplayPorts and everything, can we please just take a minute and admire how beautiful this card is? Okay, benchmark time. So I put it through some simulated stress tests, some 3D Mark tests, and some real-world tests, and these are the results. I put the new 1080 up against some quite tough competition. The EVGA 980 Ti, and also the Radeon R9 285. I put that in just because it was the only other card I had on hand, and also because some of you at home might have that level of card. First game, Ark Survival Evolved. The Asus absolutely crushed this game at a max FPS of 71 and an average of 41. I have no idea why, but my tests with a 980 Ti in the exact same testing environment got way lower FPS results, at a max of 12 and an average of 3 FPS in full ultra 1080p. And let's just not talk about the Radeon R9, which couldn't really run it. Okay, I'm sorry. Next up, Watch Dogs 2. This game is surprisingly easy to run on a complete ultra preset. And again, the Asus 1080 absolutely blew the competition out of the water with a max of 87 FPS at full ultra 1080p and an average of 74. EVGA came close with a max of 72 and an average of 57. And again, the Radeon couldn't really even run it. Next up, Battlefield 1. So, this isn't going to be too accurate a result. I could not get the FPS to go above 60, even with frame rate limiter to 200. So, the max FPS which I can get on 1080p full ultra with 2 times resolution upscaling was 61 max because of VSync, and even VSync was off, and an average of 60 FPS. For 980 Ti, it was 60 FPS max and an average of 42. And for the Radeon R9, you could actually run it for once at max of 26 FPS and an average of 19. Next up, GTA 5. The Asus 1080 surprised me drastically in this. With complete ultra preset at 1080p absolute max settings, it came out at a max of 97 FPS and an average of 51. The 980 Ti came close-ish, with a max of 74 FPS and an average of 42, and the Radeon R9 kind of summed up AMD in a nutshell, with an average of 9 FPS. So, in conclusion, is it worth it? Well, at a price at 1,600 Canadian dollars, I would say no. You could get an SLI 980 Ti, which would probably be close to it. But if you're like me with a small form factor case and you can't have an SLI configuration or daisy chain or crossfire, whatever you want to have in it, I would still say no. If you don't have a screen which is above 75 or 60 hertz, you won't see a difference in the first place because the 980 Ti can beat every single game above that also. But if you're a hype beast with Yeezys and a Supreme sweater, I'd say yeah, it's good for you. Final note of what I reviewed of all the audio and finished editing. I decided to put this clip in. I don't get me wrong, I really, really, really like the 1080. It's my main driver, my main card. I adore it. But with $1,600, think twice before you buy it.